and everything rides on hope now, and everything rides on faith somehow. So when the world has broken me down, your love sets me free.
Hey, welcome friends to our new series. We're going to be bringing this every week, and we're calling it Ordinary Heroes. And just in our congregation of Wildwood United Methodist Church, we call ourselves the Wild Ones. We have multiple people that are out on the front lines of the COVID-19 crisis, working every day, putting their lives at risk to bring healing to others, particularly those in the medical profession. And so we're going to interview them each week. They are ordinary heroes out on the front lines, and we want you to be able to meet them and hear from them and to receive suggestions and feedback from them. And I'm just really honored today to introduce you to our first interviewee. She's a pastor and she's also a nurse, and it's my honor and privilege to introduce to you Miss Nicole Sensini. Hey everybody, I'm here with Nicole Sensini, and she is a wonderful person. Not only is she a pastor, she's actually one of our Wild Ones, but she's also a medical professional, been doing this her whole life, and a home health care nurse. And so she's here to interview with us today, and I want to, on behalf of all of us, just extend to you, Nicole, that you are one of our heroes. You are right on the front lines of this.
Thank you.
Risking exposure to the coronavirus every day to help people. And so we just
thank you,
admire
Mike. I appreciate that.
You're one of our ordinary heroes, an extraordinary Christian, and we thank you for that. So if we could just start with tell us a little about what your job is and like what that looks like on a day-to-day basis, what you do.
Okay. So every day I get up in the morning at 8:30. I have what's called a flash call. I do like a collaborative meeting on the phone with clinicians in the office and in the field. So there's anywhere from 5 to 10 of us on the phone call. We discuss any problematic things. But right now the main topic has been emergency preparedness. We've been reviewing repeatedly. Call your patients, make sure you educate them. And so in the midst of what I do normally, which is call my patients ahead of time, make appointments in their homes, I'm also having to call all the rest of my patients that I'm case managing, which is anywhere between 25, 30 patients, and calling all of them, either speaking to them directly or leaving voicemails on how to protect themselves from the coronavirus. So day to day, I go from house to house. I drive anywhere from 50 to 150 miles a day. I go from the Villages area up to the North Marion County line, which is just a crazy amount of distance. I'm right in Fort McCoy right now. So, I mean, I go all over the place. And I go from assisted livings to memory care nursing homes to patients' homes. So those are the different areas. I can do anything from a normal visit teaching medication management, like how someone's used their glucometer for diabetes, and as complicated as a wound vac or a PICC line IV with antibiotics. So it just depends. So that's what I do generally.
Thank you so much. So as you're out there on the front lines, what are you seeing with how's this impacting what you would normally do? What protective measures do you have to take now, and can you bring us up to speed on that?
Sure. So any of you who even have a family member in an assisted living know this to be true, that there are signs on the doors that say, do not enter, no visitors. So the only way I'm allowed to go in is because I am medical personnel. Up to today, we were doing routine things such as getting temperature scans and signing release forms stating we have not traveled outside of the U.S., that we don't have a cough, that we don't, all these other normal symptoms of the coronavirus, that we don't have any of them. But as of today, we received an email saying that we have to wear one of these two masks in order just to get into the facility. This one is an average sort of mask you can probably buy over the counter. It does protect you somewhat, but it doesn't actually prevent the spreading of the virus completely because of the way that this is made. The holes are kind of larger, whereas this one is generally used for TB exposure, like tuberculosis. So this one is a much tighter fitting mask. In fact, I had to get refitted this past Monday. So I wear a size medium, but everyone has to be able to not taste anything. They spray this bitter thing, and it's kind of interesting. But this one is more protective. So yeah, we're not allowed to go in or out without wearing a mask now. So that is a change. I have seen quite a shift in that. And it might even get to the point we can't go in, period.
So as you're out there on the front line, what signs of hope do you see? How do you see God at work in the midst of
Well, the Lord is always at work. He is so good and faithful. But I see people being more open-minded towards spiritual things, especially when they're faced with the unknown. They don't know what's going to happen. They're not sure. That's what's so interesting about this virus. It's no respect of person. So whether you are rich or poor, you're at risk. You live here, you're at risk. If you like to go to the grocery store, you're at risk. So everyone is more open to talking about God and, where is God? What's he doing? How is this going to work out? I've noticed people more open to prayer, asking for prayer. I've seen families gathering together like true families on their quarantine. I mean, unfortunately, some people have been laid off from their jobs already. So they're home, they can't take their kids to daycare because they can't afford to take them. Thankfully, that hasn't been me specifically, but I know of multiple. So I see God at work showing people how to be families again and showing people what community really looks like, for sure.
Awesome. Amazing. So just one last question so you can get back to your crazy, busy 10-day long
day 10 for Nicole. Yeah, tomorrow's day 11, so I'm really tired.
I bet. What should we just normal Christians do in this time, in the midst of the COVID-19 crisis? What suggestions do you have for us as a medical professional?
So I would just say, even anybody, period, use good hand washing, use hand sanitizer. Hand washing is always better. And I always say, wash for as long as the Lord's Prayer. And so when people are like, I don't know the Lord's Prayer, I'm like, sing happy birthday from beginning to end. But if you need a reason to pray, that sign that says, make sure to wash your hand and say your prayers because Jesus and germs are everywhere. Well, that's true. So wash your hands, the Lord's Prayer. Also to cover your cough in your elbow. That's very important. Sometimes you want to do this, but you should do this. Avoid crowds, do social distancing, things like that. As a Christian, I would say reach out to your neighbor, see if they need food, see if they need help. A lot of our elderly shut-ins are scared to death. The media, they're watching the news 24/7. They don't know what's going on. So, Pastor Jill, I know, was reaching out to our shut-ins just a couple days ago, and probably still is. I know she's really good about that. So as a Christian woman, I want to be the presence of God everywhere I go. And I think that every Christian has a charge to do that same thing, especially in the midst of a crisis. I mean, this is what we're made for. This is our purpose in life, is to go be Jesus to the world. Even when the world wants to hide, we're called to show up to those front lines as a believer, for sure. That's what I would say.
Amen. Well, thank you so much for your time and for pausing to speak to us and give us some hope. And we just appreciate you. You're our hero.
Thanks, Pastor Mike. You're my hero too, so I appreciate that.
Amen. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you for asking.